Hello, welcome to Meanwhile at the Castle podcast. I'm Queen Emily.
I'm Queen Deborah.
And we are queens of our castles, keeping the domestic arts alive. It is episode 67 today, and it's March 7th. So welcome. Today we are having a podcast all about our things that we make, the joys of creativity and those domestic arts. And we have, I believe, mostly knitting.
Yep.
I think all knitting.
Yes.
All knitting today. So we're excited to share that with you. So we'll start with a life update, and then we will have works in progress by me, and then we're going to have special, exciting progress news. I don't know, project news from Queen Deborah, and then finished objects, and then some shop news. But we also get to introduce or announce our winners for the end of our Cozy Toes Cowl. So that, when do we want to do that?
Let's do that
first.
after.
Oh, wait.
I was
What
going
were
to
you
say
saying?
after.
That's fine. Let's do it at the end. We'll do that at the end.
We actually have our getting to know you question today too.
Oh, that is right.
So let's do our getting to know you question, and then we'll do our prize winners and shop news.
So that'll be at the end. All right. So life update. Deborah, tell us what's up with you.
I even wrote things down. I wrote notes today. I hope you're proud of me. Okay.
Well done.
We had Valentine's Day, which was fun, and I had little Valentines for my girls that I leave out at the table for them, and then we took some over to Claire. And I'm trying to remember, Jason and I went and saw a movie together. Anyways, that was fun. But the weather has been so nice. We even had an outdoor movie in March.
Whoa.
I think it was March 1st or something like that. We set up a screen and projector and sound and had an outdoor movie, which was really fun. And then it snowed like a day later, so but that's okay, that's what happens. But also on that day when it was really nice, I started seeds out in my cold frame. It's just an experimentation. That's why I built it. It's because I wanted to try and extend the growing season, and I really wanted to start seeds outdoors. Last year I experimented with several different seed starting methods. One of them in milk jugs, which was not really successful, but I attribute that completely to the fact that I didn't water it ever. So can't blame the milk jugs for not producing the water. So
That's awesome.
And then the most fun. My daughter and her best friend, Catherine, they are interesting. They're fun.
Hilarious.
They're awesome. Really fun. My children, they are embarrassed by me because I feel like they spent their whole childhood embarrassing me, so I really have to try and do my best to pay that forward and embarrass them. And now they're trying again to repay that. So everywhere we go, Nadia and her best friend like to do parkour in every situation.
Which apparently is free running if you're not in the US. So
free running, okay.
Yeah.
So we made a video of them doing parkour. It's an inspirational action film.
Oh, it made me laugh so hard.
So anyways, I've posted that on the on my Fairytale Chronicles channel. I'll link that below, and you can go and enjoy that motivational action film. So that's what we've been spending our time doing. I mean, time well spent. What about you, Emily?
What have we been doing? Isaac had his birthday. He's 17 now, which is just mind-boggling to me. I realized I have 1 year left before he's, technically an adult. 1 year of that I'm just feeling the year like slipping through my fingers.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So we just had a fun little weekend with him, and went out to dinner, got steak as per his request, and went shooting. So that was a fun thing. We went to a range and did some of that. And then let's see, Richard's birthday was yesterday. And he is not one who likes to celebrate his birthday. It's not that he has a problem with it being his birthday. He just doesn't like anybody making a fuss over him. He really hates that. So it's not about getting older or anything. It's just, don't make a fuss, you know. And I finally was like, you know, it's not about people making a fuss over you. It's about you giving them an opportunity to have something to celebrate. So then he said, okay, well, I want my family to have opportunities to celebrate. So you can celebrate my birthday. So we went to an escape room and did that on Saturday. So I just want you all to know we have saved the world.
You saved the world just in the nick of time with 5 minutes to spare.
We shut down a nuclear reactor meltdown with 5 minutes to spare. Yeah, anyway, that was really fun. And then we just had dinner and stuff. So it's been really nice, but we've been enjoying the weather. We've been working on some reorganization projects at home and things like that. It's just been a nice, fairly calm season here for us. So that's been lovely.
I'm so happy with the nice weather that we've been having. Like springtime temperatures.
We say as there's inches of snow on the ground.
But that's
right now.
normal for here
Yeah.
where, you know,
it goes back and forth.
Is it spring? Is it winter? Is it spring? Is it winter? But it's just been earlier this year.
Yeah.
But I'm also thankful that we've had a lot of snow because every time it rains or snows just means one more day that I feel like we're going to make it through summer in the drought.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah, and I think that it's been really helpful to be able to get outside more and everything because it's too easy to stay inside, look at the news, stay online, overwhelm yourself with world news.
We've just been outside as much as possible.
Yep, it's been good.
All right. Well, we are going to have Emily. We're gonna break this up into 3 different sections. So
I'm
Emily,
share my
this is
finished
Emily's section.
Okay, so I finished my Frank shawl, which I'm going to take off and show you. It's so fun.
It is
my kids call this my butterfly shawl because of the shaping. I don't know if you can see it. Kind of looks, a little bit. That's what they think it looks like a butterfly.
Okay, now move to the right, Emily.
There we go. So I think this was just amazing. Let me show you the picture. This is a pattern by Joji Locatelli. I'm hoping that I'll be able to show you on my iPad the pictures of things because I didn't print everything out. So maybe if I turn my brightness down, right? Let's see if that helps. Yeah, there's such a glare. You probably can't see it. There, you can see a reflection of my windows. There you go. Anyway, that's the Frank shawl. And it is a 4-color shawl. It was so much fun to make. I forget how much fun shawls are. I don't wear a lot of shawls. I have worn this one a couple times already, but it's just, I forget how much fun they are.
They're fun to make.
They're so much fun to make.
I rarely wear them. Today I thought, the weather is cold and it's not going to be like that much longer. Better.
I think I need to wear mine
take
more.
the opportunity to wear something.
I mean, I did sort through my shawls and I saved out my favorite ones, and I have been slowly giving away some of my ones that I just don't maybe match my wardrobe as much or things like that. I gave away one just the other day and to a sweet friend of mine, and she was so excited about it. So anyway, I knit these out of 4 different skeins of yarn, and I showed it in progress, but I used my main color. So this kind of taupe, maybe kind of camel golden color is this skein right here. And this is from our friend Mandy. She dyed this, we mentioned before, with sagebrush blossoms. And the name of the color is You're a Daisy If You Do. And it's just really beautiful. It's really great for that. So the pattern said that you would use every scrap of this, but I didn't. I still have, this was, I think 438. Here, let me pull the label out. I want to say it was either 437 yards. And so there's probably 15 grams, something like that left over. The other color, the color number 2, which is looking probably cream color, but is a very pale pink. is Maybe Baby from Dandelion and Dogwood. And this is on the stellina base, a silver stellina base, which in person is very sparkly.
Yes,
It's lovely and sparkly. But again, you're probably not seeing that on the camera. It just doesn't show up that well. Then my third color is this gorgeous rosy pink. And I feel so bad. I cannot remember the name of this, but this was from Mr. and Mrs. Rabbit's Yarns, who have just closed down. But it is so, this is a precious, I mean, all of these are. I want to do something with the remainder of these 4 colors because they're just so pretty. It's just lovely, but the quality of it too. It's an 80-20. What is that, 2-ply? I think it's very similar to your base.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is a high twist 2-ply.
Yeah, 80-20 merino
Probably
nylon.
Around 400-ish yards.
Yeah, that's what I think. So a little bit plump, but it looks so beautiful knit up. Look at this. Oh, I'm just throwing everything on the ground.
It's okay.
It's just
It's saved. It's saved.
We managed.
Oh, the lighting just changed.
Oh yeah, clouds went in front of the sun and all the lighting changes.
Actually, we can see this a little bit better.
But look how pretty that is. It's like tonal. You've got these little flecks of, I don't know, oranginess. It's just so pretty. And then the blue is Cloud, and that's from Sweet Tea Yarns by Molly Klein. And I've had this in my stash for a long time. So actually I've had all 3 of these in my stash for a long time. And I think I got this one maybe last year. Yeah. But I'm trying to shop my stash a lot more and use some of my single skeins. And so when I found those 4 together, I thought, oh my goodness, what am I going to make? And the shawl just was the perfect, because it showcases all of the colors. Like every color gets to shine, right? It gets its own spotlight.
So pretty.
Isn't it fun? Oh, I love it. It's so fun. It's not one, because of these kind of corners in the bottom, it's not one that you normally, like, you wear kind of the same way, like that you're wearing yours right now. I mean, I kind of am.
To me, this is like the generic.
It's a great way to wear a shawl.
Yeah, and it looks nice. That's why everybody does
I think what it is I can get the little V in the front and in the back. So, except for I didn't wrap it right, but
yes,
you can see the V in the back and in the front. So that's kind of fun. It's almost like you get double bang for your buck there. So that was my first finished object.
Yeah, so you do have a good amount of yarn left, so you can definitely
I do. I mean, this one's probably 30. These 2 each probably have about 30, 20
you
to
could do
30.
mittens, you could do socks, maybe all 3.
I mean, there's a lot of fun stuff
2
there.
of them.
So I don't know what I'm going to do, but something fun.
Yeah.
Something amazing, I guess. All right, next up, since you're just going to get to listen to me for a while, I have 2 pair of socks. First off, I finished Isaac's socks. Now, I should have grabbed a pair of my socks to show the contrast in size, because just looking at these, they're just
And I forgot to grab sock blockers.
my Mr. Bigfoot. He's my Mr. Bigfoot. So anyway, I finished these socks for him, and they are like a waffle texture. I cast on 76 stitches. That doesn't sound right.
I would like to say that I know.
It's 76. 76 stitches. I knit a 25 round cuff, then a 100 round leg, and then instead of, like, normally for me I do 16 slip stitches in my heel, I did 18 I think for him. And then I reduced the circumference, because he has quite large calves. I reduced the circumference of the foot down to 72. And he has size 12 wide feet. So that's my big boy socks. And he is so excited for these. And we were going to record our podcast last week, but then I wasn't feeling well. And so he was like, oh, I have to wait more. So I get to hand these over to him, and he will be thrilled. I knit this with Storyteller sock yarn in the Shoreline colorway, which is the main color. Deborah knit a hat out of this. I think it was one of your
Yeah,
your,
I knit it last year for
swirl. What am I trying to say?
Yeah, I did the ice cream swirl.
Yeah.
Hat pattern with that one.
Yep, and it's a lovely yarn that was a gift from one of our sweet friends, our viewers. And then I used 3 of the 5 minis from this. I got a gradient set from Dirty Water Dye Works, and the colorway of the gradient was Drizzle. And so there were 5 minis in shades of blue.
Yeah.
And I used the darker of the 3. So there's 2, sorry, this is hard to, these little tiny balls of yarn. There's 2 colors that are lighter than this. So this was the darkest one, and then this one, and then that one. And I just did the lightest at the top, and then the medium, and then the darkest at the toe. So this is lovely though. I actually really enjoyed, and I kept saying I'm not going to ever knit socks for Isaac because his feet are too big. And then I realized that's the dumbest thing ever, because of all of, like, any man who would appreciate socks, Isaac is the one who would. I mean, he's just so appreciative. He's just so knit worthy. So that was silly of me, and I will definitely knit him more.
And it's 1 skein of yarn.
Yep, like, these weighed almost, like, I think 102 grams for this pair of socks. So you could do them out of a single skein. You'd probably just make a slightly shorter cuff.
You would just, this is all you had left.
Yeah.
But because this is 100 grams. But
because wait, because ding 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 ding.
Oh,
I need another pair of socks.
Okay. That explains it.
So I knit a pair of shorty socks out of all those same yarns. So that's why. So I had this much more of that yarn.
So you can see the difference of how it looks with gauge.
See the difference of how it's pooling. This is fewer stitches. It's 64 stitches. And it's not a patterned sock. It's just...
So that is one thing. Sometimes when you knit something and you don't like how it's pooling, then knit another project that has a different number of stitches or a different gauge, and it will change what it looks like.
Yep, exactly. So these are a pair of shorty socks that I did the same thing where I did the light, the dark, and then the medium here. I don't know who these are going to be for. They're going to go in my gift stash. They're a little bit small for most of our family. But I just didn't, again, no, I couldn't, because I only had this much left over. I thought, I can't quite get enough stitches out of that to make a pair for one of us. We're a Bigfoot family, so anyway.
2 pairs
so that's
socks.
what I have. Yeah, so yeah, I thought I would be really bored working with that yarn, but I immediately cast these on when I was done.
And it really does look different.
Doesn't it?
I mean, you did a different stitch pattern. This is just stockinette.
Yeah.
So vanilla.
Also, these are blocked and these aren't, so you can kind of feel the difference of how after they're blocked.
Yeah.
Because they start to drape a little better. I don't know. Those are a little.
Bring my sock blockers here, but this looks nice. So it looks like you did a 2x2 rib for maybe 10, 12 rounds.
I think it's 15. I could be totally wrong.
And then it looks like you went right into the heel
9, 10, 11,
flap.
12. Yeah, it was 12. Yep, straight into the heel flap, which is actually how I like my shorty socks to fit. But like I said, these will be for a gift for somebody.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was fun. Those were really fun.
I love that.
If they had been a little bigger, I would have given them to Abby so they could have matching socks. But she has big feet like me. All right, I only have one more finished object, which is for Abby. So really cute thing. A few weeks ago, I came down to my sewing room, and we had already picked out some yarn for Abby to have a hat. And so she had picked out this yarn, which I have had, again, this has been in my stash for a long, long time. And it is Meanwhile at the Castle colorway. And it is, this has been quite mangled. It's Amanda Makes Yarn. She's not dying anymore. This is something we've had for
She's now Little
House Big Woods on
Instagram.
Yep. But she, Abby had really liked this, and she wanted to have a hat. And so I came downstairs to my sewing room one morning, and I can't find this picture. I'll hopefully send it to Deborah. We'll see. Maybe there'll be a picture. If not, don't worry about it. But I came downstairs, and she had found a pattern book of mine and had opened it to a sock or a hat pattern, and had put the balled up yarn.
So did she cake the yarn?
No, I had caked it.
Okay.
So she had put the caked up yarn and this little pom-pom on the picture, on the page, and then put a little heart note, cut out a little heart and wrote on it, "Can we do this pattern for my hat?"
So you guys had been talking
adorable. We've been talking about doing a hat, which I can't find the picture right now. So anyway, but in the end, we didn't knit that pattern. It wasn't going to work for what she actually wanted it to fit like. And so I did an everyday slouchy beanie. No, I didn't. I did a sock head hat.
I was like, wait a minute.
This is a sock head.
I was just looking at the brim there. Like,
so we knit a sock head hat for her out of this yarn, and it just speckled up and kind of striped up and swirled so perfectly with this cute pom-pom that is from Fabunits. Fabunits. Who's on Etsy. 3 F's, I believe. And it just turned out so cute. So she is also very excited because there is snow on the ground. There is still a chance for her to wear her hat this year. And now I can hand it over to her. And that was very fun and mindless knitting.
And it's sparkly.
Yes, it is. It's gold stellina in that yarn, which of course you won't.
So this was our first year of our podcast, I think.
Yeah.
That we had this yarn.
I think you're right. What year was that? 2017?
16?
It's either been 4 or 5 years.
I can't remember.
I don't remember either.
And I knit something, and I can't remember who I knit it for. Probably Mom, and gave it away and didn't have any more of the yarn left.
Yep.
And then I think I mentioned at Christmas time, I did an advent calendar swap with my good friend Kimberly, and in it was a mini of that yarn.
Oh,
I was so happy.
So sweet. I've got this much left, which is not quite 50 grams. So anyway, that's a really fun one. All right, well, those are my finished objects.
Okay.
Make some kids very happy today.
All right. We're going to move into my segment, which is all about circular sock knitting machine projects.
So exciting.
So excited to talk about this. Okay. My husband ordered a sock knitting machine for me for Christmas, and he ordered that back in early October, but there's a long wait list because they're awesome. I mean, what can I say? They're awesome. So of course there's going to be a long wait list. So it actually came just recently, and it came at just the right time because while I was dyeing yarn, I injured my left hand and I couldn't use my left hand for about 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks. And so I was really sad because I had this goal to finish all of my works in progress that month. I wanted to just get them all done. So they're still sitting there waiting for me. But the sock knitting machine came because with that, I primarily just use my right hand. My left hand now is much, much better. I just am being cautious with it. So it is an Erlbacher Speedster, and I have the 64 cylinder and the 72 stitch cylinder, and I want to get the 60 next is my goal, because the 60 is what I primarily would use for me. So I want to pull out kind of what I've been using. Okay, so first of all, I have some socks that are finished from Sock Tubes, and some of these, maybe one of these you've seen before. So this, I had ordered several tubes cranked from Barbara, who's Bab Knits on Instagram, BABKNITS, and you can also find her on clayvillefiberarts.com. So she has a sock knitting service where she will do tubes. She will divide them into two. She will do full socks. So she did a great job. And I was talking with her about how I want a tighter gauge. And so she was experimenting with that and sent me some tubes that I'd ordered. And then I added in the heels and toes. She did a folded hung hem cuff for me. So this one is with my colorway Jose from my Tiki Room collection. So I've shown this one before, that set, that pair before, but I had quite a stash of yarns that I had sent to her, so I had been working through those. So the next one I did was my Neapolitan ice cream sock set. And so these are done on a 64 stitch cylinder, and these, let's see, she cranked at, they're about 9 stitches per inch. So that's a pretty fine gauge. So I ended up doing, so they're afterthought heels and toes. So you just cut them in, you know, pick up stitches and cut the yarn between and do afterthought heels and toes. So I did a pair of those. And then the next one that I did was my Circus Animal Cookies sock set. And with these, I sent about 60-ish grams of yarn, and she divided those in half and did the hung hem. And so this is what I got with 60 grams of the main yarn, and then I just kept the rest for the heels and toes. So all of these I made between a 7.5 and an 8.5 size shoe, because that's what my family wears, except for me. So there's 3 pair that were finished, and then I have some that I haven't finished yet that I'm working on still. So there's some finished ones. Then I got my knitting machine, and I had the best help ever. So I just posted on Instagram when I was opening up my sock knitting machine. I was so excited about it, and I was just saying, now I have to figure out how to use this thing. And someone reached out to me. I've had several people reach out to me saying that they would help. Amy was really sweet. She's Crazy Crafty Mama Knits on Instagram. She lives really close by me, and she said, I will come over and show you how to use it.
Oh, that's so
And
nice.
I said, I would be really stupid to turn that down. I said, all right then. And we figured out a time, and she came over the next day, and within, I think we spent about 2.5 hours setting it up, showing me how to do an entire sock start to finish. So by the end of that, I had made a full sock, and she showed me how to fix mistakes, things like that. It was fantastic. Best teacher, so kind, so knowledgeable, and I just was doing my very best to be really focused, pay attention, and learn everything I could, because I knew that this was just, that time was worth its weight in gold. So, so after that, I just went to town cranking tubes to try and figure out gauge for different yarns, and specifically for my base, what I wanted for my base. So I used the rest of my Circus Animal Cookies sock yarn and did a tube. I just was experimenting, trying to see loose, tight, what it did, how the machine worked, what it liked, what it didn't like. And so, I mean, this is 40 grams of yarn right here. Mm-hmm. So with 40 grams of yarn, I mean, yeah, you can put in a heel and toe here and have a shorty sock and put in a cuff here. I mean, you could have a decent sized sock right there, depending on what your size of feet are. So anyways, I did that one, and this is the yarn that we used for making the first sock, because I just had some ready to go. She showed me how to put it on a cone, how to wind that, and I ripped it out so I could reuse the yarn. I just recranked the same yarn again and again and again. So this one is 8 stitches and 11.5 rows per inch. And this is the same base as my yarn, and the machine really liked that one, liked that gauge. And then I got it to 8.5 stitches per inch, which is the gauge I really like. That's what my own knitting gauge is, 8.5 stitches per inch, and this is 10 3/4 rows per inch.
What is this one? Is this one 9, did you say?
That one is 8.
This is 8?
That one is 8,
okay.
I believe. So I think this is what I want for my base, because this also matches my knitting. I was measuring a lot of different things, trying to see, looking online, what's the average, and the average is, I think, really around 8. So between 7 and 9 stitches is what most people use. So anyways, this one is Unicorn Dew, and I didn't do full 100 grams of this one because
so
I don't
cute.
need a 100-gram tube. So I just was doing, I had measured socks and how many rows I needed for leg and for foot. And so this is enough for me to now divide it in half, put in cuffs, heels, and toes. Then I did, this yarn. After I had experimented a lot and played around and tried to get heels and toes just right, I thought, okay, now I'm gonna try and do a full-on sock. And this is the coveted yarn by all 3 of my children, and I knit 1 shorty pair of socks for Ella, and then I was going to do a pair for Nadia and didn't get around to it, and I thought, I'm gonna do it on the sock knitting machine. And I was doing really great until I got to the end of the toe and messed it up, and I just was like, forget it, I am sick of this, because I had recranked this probably 7 times and cut it and said, here, Emily, take it.
So now it's our yarn.
So now she gets to have this coveted yarn.
Abby will love it.
Yeah, and Emily's gonna use the Circus Animal Cookies yarn too, because I've already got a pair of socks
Which
with
I'm
that.
very excited about that.
And so let's see, I was going to show you 2 more tubes that I have from Barbara from Bab Knits that I haven't finished making into socks yet, and this is with 9 stitches per inch. So with the 9 stitches per inch, I have to go down a needle size because that's not my gauge, but then it fits my foot better because I usually do 60 stitches, not 64 stitches. So this one was an experiment when I was doing fizzy lifting drinks, and it's not exactly like it, but it's close, from my Quotable Confections collection. So we've got that tube to make, and then I started this one. This one is 9 stitches per inch, 12 3/4 rows per inch. I've got a cuff and a toe in it, and I used a size 0 needle to do the cuff and the toe, but that really wore my hands out. So that's why I'm like, I need to get the cylinder that fits me the best. So
that makes sense.
So that's what I've got that I'm working on here. This colorway is Nowhere to Go But Up from my Mary Poppins Returns collection. And so now I'm gonna show you tubes that I'm working on.
I just measured mine, and I'm 8 stitches by 11.5 rows for an inch.
Okay.
On the
So
ones I'm
everybody
working
go
on
measure
now.
yours.
That's really
Let's see what yours
interesting.
is.
I love learning this. It's so
I've just
great.
been measuring a whole bunch of different gauges, measuring what my family likes, what they don't like. I mean, I only have my family to go off of, so that's when I look online and just see what a lot of people are saying that they have. And that's the thing, it's personal preference. But then when it comes down to it, it's also, what does my machine like for the base that I will be using primarily? Because you have to do what your machine wants you to do. Okay, so I cranked this tube using beautiful yarn from my friend Mandy. We did an Advent swap 2 years ago, and she knit a skein for me called Where the Lost Things Go.
She dyed it.
What did I say?
Knit it.
Oh,
But
she
that's
dyed it.
okay.
And I've had this set aside for me to knit, and
So
now
cute.
it's gonna be a pair of socks. So I just did a tube because I wanted to just, first of all, just wanted to crank a tube. It's so fun. It's so much fun. I'm gonna insert a video right here of me cranking away on it. Okay, and now here's the yarn, and I just weighed out how much I wanted, or I have a row counter and just did how many rows I wanted for each sock and just kept going. So I'm gonna work on that one next, but the first pair of socks that I finished using a tube from my own sock knitting machine is this pair. I'll pull out what the yarn details are in just a minute. So it's really pale pastel teals, pinks, and purples. And I got this tension quite tight. This one is 9 1/4 stitches per inch because I didn't have a smaller cylinder, and my niece loved this yarn. I thought, I'm gonna make this for my niece. So I made one sock and measured how long her foot was and put in the heel and discovered that I had measured wrong and it doesn't fit her, but it fits my daughter. So sad. Luckily there's enough yarn though for me to do another pair. The yarn is Giddy Yarns, and if you see, it says for Nadia. So a couple years ago with the Get Your Yarns Wishes Granted, I wished for a fun package for my girls, and this was in there, and I went back to try to see who sent it to me, and I searched and searched, and I don't have record of it. I cannot find it, and I'm sorry, but it was so sweet. And my niece saw it and fell in love with it, and my daughter said, it's okay, she can have that. Well, my daughter still gets a pair, and my niece will get a pair. So the colorway is Hydrangea, and it is on a BFL base, and it's very pretty. So I have plenty of yarn that I can still make a pair of socks, but I will hand knit those for my niece. So that was the first pair of finished socks from my own machine, and I'm on my second pair right now using yarn that I dyed, but it is a different base. It's a 75-25 superwash merino nylon, like 463 yards, something like that. I dyed this before I actually sold yarn that I dyed. It was just a skein that I had experimented with, and so I did cuff. What I discovered is I like a deeper cuff, folded hem cuff, and I go down in gauge, in tension for the cuff, just a little bit, and then go back up to the regular gauge for the leg.
So does that mean you make it tighter or looser?
I make it tighter. Okay. I make it tighter because it seems to just be a little bit looser, and I want it to be more snug. So this one is 8 stitches and 11 rows per inch on this base that I did. And so I have one sock made, one sock finished, and it has a long leg. So I don't have my sock blockers. These look so funny like this. But it's fun to see how the yarn patterns. It's really fun to watch when you're cranking and just see the pattern developing in the cylinder. So I have the second sock, I'm just working on the heel right now, and then that one will be done. But I wanted to practice getting the heels and the toes. So I spent the weekend just cranking and recranking and recranking. It's a sock that has like 5 heels in one sock, you know? So I could just keep practicing that over and over again. But I didn't want to use all the yarns that I have currently because they're all my treasured yarn and I didn't want to mess with that. So I went to Hobby Lobby to see what do they have there. And they do have Patons Croix, but that was actually a lot thicker than I remembered. And I wanted one that was going to be similar to my own base. But I found this really interesting yarn. Where is the label? It is interesting. Yarn Bee Cozy Toes. It is, where does it say? It's like polyester, nylon, or acrylic and polyester.
Huh.
And the thing is, there's a lot of different fingering weight yarns, but they don't have any spring to them. This yarn has a lot of spring because it's two plies, and one ply, where is the end of that? One ply, let's see if I can untwist this, coils tightly around another ply, makes it like a spring. Just a minute. So if I untwist this, they have no bounce. The plies themselves have no give like wool does, but this has a lot of give because of how one is wound around the other.
Interesting.
Like a spring, a coil around it. And so it has a lot of stretch and it springs back. So I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. It's one you could put in the washer and the dryer.
Oh, that's
so here. So I played around just trying to get, just to see what it would do. I just wanted to try and make a sock with it because I want to get the process down. So here is what you use to start with. This is called a setup bonnet. And you don't just start knitting like on a Addy Express, or what's the other one? I don't remember. But that one, you put the yarn in, you feed it through, and you start cranking away, and it starts knitting. With this, you have to have something that it attaches to, and you have weight on it. And the weight provides the tension it needs so that the stitches will catch. So I have waste yarn here to remove, but I wanted to keep it on there so you could see, how it starts. And then I did a folded hem cuff, and then I did a heel, and I just keep messing up because I think that I have done what I need to on either side of the heel, and I've done it on one but not on the other. And so they don't match up, and then I end up with holes. So I'm going to get it down, but I've got a heel and I've got a toe. Yes, this is a toe. So you essentially do another heel, and then I have waste yarn, and you remove the waste yarn after you put it on needles, and you Kitchener it closed on the top. That's a really interesting shaped foot.
It's just the way it's being held. It's
so that's how that works.
Very interesting.
Okay, so
how fun.
I'm just going to town with this and having so much fun. So I can crank tubes all day long, no problem. And I can do a hung hem cuff, no problem. I'm just working on the heels and toes and getting those down. And after I have that, then I have river dials, so I can do ribbing. So that will be what I will attack next. So
it's a whole new world of exploration.
It is so much fun, but all I have been knitting by hand for the last month are toes. Essentially, a heel is a toe.
Yeah.
So I've knit a toe. Everything that I have done, it's just one toe after another, after another, after another. And so I'm kind of like, I am done with toes. That's why I want to get it down. So, all right.
That's so fun, though.
I have my pile. So I just have everything in here, and I had a section of finished ones. I had my sample ones, and I had the ones that I'm working on with the cakes of yarn lined up here. So I could just see my progress and see all of my notes and where I was going from there.
I was talking to Richard. He says, what is the purpose of a knitting machine? And I said, well, okay, first of all, if the goal is to do every stitch by hand, then that isn't it.
Yeah.
But if the goal is to create things, then it's the same as having a Bosch or a KitchenAid that kneads your dough for you. In the end, you still are a bread baker.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and I also say, okay, are you actually sewing if you don't make your clothes with a needle and thread?
Right. It's just a different way to do it.
Machine. It's different. Everybody has their own opinion, and it's fine. It's perfectly fine for you to have your own opinion. I love this. And also, it makes it so that I can have a shop sample in minutes instead of weeks, because of my time frame and how much time my hands allow me to even use work. So there's just no way I could give enough, create enough samples for what I would like. So
and when I talked about it, he's like, okay, well, that makes sense. He totally got it. So that's good.
I know that it is a hot topic at times, but honestly, I'm kind of like, I love
not
it.
engaged in the...
So you can have your own opinion, and it is perfectly fine for you to have your own opinion. This is mine. I'm happy with it.
Well, I love it. I think it's exciting, and I want to come over and crank some tubes.
It is fun. Abby got to crank on my machine
before
Emily did.
I know. I haven't even seen it in person yet. I need to come and pay homage to the... Okay. Finished, or no,
Wait,
works
what do
in
you think about
progress.
this yarn?
I don't know. I'm kind of intrigued by it.
I just think, first of all, it's inexpensive.
I don't know that I would like to wear it. That's my main thing.
I'm just wondering, like, if you're wanting to knit socks and you want to do it on a budget, there is the Patons Croix. There's some different budget yarns.
I've got one
but
right
this
here.
is one that can go in the washer and the dryer. And it's springy. I don't know. If you've used it, be good to hear what you think if you've worn some.
I have to remember what...
Did I show what it was? Yeah, I showed what the yarn was. Okay.
Yes. Speaking of budget sock yarns, here's a work in progress. I am knitting this pair of socks, which, looks really cool on the camera. This is the yarn I'm using, and this is Red Heart and Soul yarn, which is, let me look at the, what am I trying to say? Fiber content somewhere. I assume you exist here somewhere. Product details. It is 73% wool, 27% nylon, 50 gram ball, 187 yards. So that is the yarn. And I am using the color that is called Riverstone. And I believe this sells for around $6.50 per ball. So that's what I'm doing. I got 2 of these, and I've had them in my stash for a while, and I'm just working through them, making these for a friend who loves brown. She said, I really need some brown socks. And I said, my lovely friend Jen, I will never probably knit you plain brown socks, but as long as you're okay with other colors in them as well, then we can work this out.
If you really want brown, I'll go buy you some brown socks.
She loves my handmade socks. I've knit her a couple pair of socks, and she loves them, and she wears them regularly. She's worn one pair almost out, but that's turning out really fun. And that was the one I just measured my gauge on, and it was on a 2.25 millimeter needle, working up at, what did I say?
Let me see your other socks there. I'm going to measure those while we're talking.
These, probably these that are unblocked. Is that the way you want to do? So these were, I said 8 stitches by 11.5 rows is what I just measured per inch.
Okay.
And this wool is pretty nice, actually. I'm enjoying it. I'm liking that. I've got a couple of different budget yarns I say budget yarns. That's a dumb word to say. Let's say mass-produced commercial yarns. That's a better way to say it. Of commercial yarns in my stash. And I'm going to start trying to work my way through those. I'm really trying to work through my stash. That being said, I have ordered 2 sweater quantities of yarn from Yarn Cafe Creations in recent weeks because I can't help myself, because she just makes amazing things.
This was 8 3/4 stitches per inch.
Okay.
I don't know how many rows, but...
Well, and
so
that would make
tight
sense because it's this is a bulkier weight yarn. I mean, because again, this one is like 460 yards to 100 grams. Mm-hmm. This one is 360 yards to 100 grams.
Yeah, different bases, you'll have different.
So this would be more of my typical, like what I normally am knitting with. But this is also pre-blocked. That one's
This
gonna be
one
blocked.
is 8 3/4 stitches.
By-
I just did inch per inch.
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
do
The
rows.
rows.
This one is blocked. I only measured 1 inch. On the other one I measured 3 inches and divided it. So
Nice, interesting.
Anyways.
So that's usually my gauge then, 8 3/4. So anyway, those are turning out really fun. Did you're this is my section
Yep,
again,
I'm
right?
done.
Okay.
I showed you all that I
Another
brought.
pair of socks I am working on is a pair of scrappy socks, and I am knitting these concurrently. So that's what I'm doing. Aren't those fun? Teals and a little bit of pink in there.
oh my
I've
word.
got this
I
darker
need you to come through my yarn and pick out some colors for me, Emily.
for scraps. Really?
You're so good at it.
Thank
You're so
you.
good at it. I need you to just come.
Say, put these together.
I'll just bring my bin and you.
And that's what I did. I just grabbed some colors. I put them all, like all my teals in this tin. And then I grabbed 2 pinks to add to it. And I'm just throwing them together. So that's what's happening
I
here.
love them. I gotta look at your little tin.
I'm putting a
while you're
big
doing-
chunk of, that's the one we got from Margaret. You have this tin as well.
I just want, no, I mean, I want to look
what's
at
in
what's
that,
in
yeah.
the tin.
So now I'm going to do a kind of a bigger chunk of pink right here in the main, like the foot here, just because I think it'll be fun. And again, these are a 64 stitch. I do like a 20 row cuff. This is a 2x2 rib.
There is a scrappy sock knit along right now.
Oh, who's doing a scrap? That sounds like a perfect thing for me to join in. I've been knitting a lot of those lately.
No, I can't remember. Do a search
I'll look
on the
for it.
hashtag.
And then I like a
Sock Cowl or
60 row leg for me. This time I did an Eye of Partridge heel. I normally do a slip stitch heel, and I will go back to that because I did not enjoy knitting these. I do like how they look, but I'm just so used to my slip stitch heel. It just, I don't even have to think, you know, it's
Sorry,
all...
I'm still drooling over the color combination.
Oh,
So I like that you have teals, but you threw in a minty green. This one is a seafoam. I know
yep, that's
my
your seafoam, yep. Mm-hmm.
And you have some that are like semi-solids with the speckles, and it's just so pretty.
Thank you.
Oh my
I'm
goodness,
really
those are so
enjoying
pretty.
those. So that's really fun. So I'm just cruising along. One thing I have been doing, I've been knitting on, not every day, but almost every day, I've been knitting on all of my whips. I have 5 whips right now, and I've been doing at least some on everything. And that has been actually really fun for me. I did not intend to have 5 whips, but I just had to keep casting on for some weird reason.
That's what I did last year in the summer and fall. I just kept casting things on, and I normally only like 3 things going at once, and
Yeah.
I just kept casting them on.
Oh, but I'm having a blast with
Yeah.
it.
I was kind of going a little crazy, but
Okay, I'm trying to look up really quickly what this, oh, it's Maxima.
oh, I'm bringing over my. Okay, you bring over some yarn. We'll crank a tube, and I'm gonna have you pick some scraps. That's
That
what we're gonna
sounds
do.
fabulous. I think that's what this one is called. This yarn is Manos del Uruguay Maxima, yes, which is nope, it's not Maxima. It's a super bulky. Darn, I didn't have it. Do you want to look that up for me? See if you can find out.
It up.
Oh, of course you can. Would
we-
you like to
we
look
record
this
on my
up for
phone.
me? Here, look it up there. Manos del Uruguay, and it's a super bulky yarn.
Wait, I gotta find yours is different than mine. Okay.
And this pattern is called Sidewinder. Hold on, I'm gonna grab you a picture because I do have that one right here. Sidewinder beanie. It's right there. And this is by, who is this by? Aspen Leaf Knits, Ginny Jones.
Which one is the super bulky? Is that Franca?
It might be Franca.
Let's see.
Yeah, that looks like it. Franca.
Well, Franca, the base. So I'm trying to see if
I know what the color is. The color is marshmallow. It's
right there, Franca marshmallow.
So this is the colorway, and this is the hat. And it looks so little right now, but it is uber stretchy. Like it's gonna be big. So it's looking way more orange rather than coral on the screen. It's definitely
so
like
pretty.
got some fuchsia and some coral and little bits of yellow in it. It's not really showing up very well. Anyway, it's got these cool,
pretty.
so it's got this, just this pattern. You do the same pattern every round, but it just moves over one stitch every round, if that makes sense.
Wondering if we angle it. There you go.
Yeah.
You can see how it's swirling.
This is on a size 15 US needle. So it is 10 millimeters, which is very large.
You'd think that it means you move a lot faster, which you kind of do, but it's harder on your hands.
Each stitch is a slower stitch.
Yeah.
So each time I have to actually, I typically, the way I knit, let's see if I can show, here, I'll show one here. Typically the way I knit is I do a lot of pivoting of my needle. So this is not going to show up at all, I don't think. But to knit, I pivot like this.
You gotta go slow. Come on, Emily.
I don't know if I can. You know when you just
Your hand
I rock my needle like this.
And that catches the yarn.
And that catches the yarn. So I don't do a lot of moving my finger to move my yarn. I do a lot of moving my needle to catch my yarn, if that makes sense.
We have a lot of people ask how we knit, and we should do a
So this is me knitting, just to see it. I know that this is backwards, but this is what I look like when I knit.
I should record over your shoulder.
But when I am knitting on these huge needles, well, let me do this quick first. This is a twist. Yeah, I have to like pick my whole hand up.
Yeah, you have to work completely differently.
Because there's, first of all, I'm on a 16-inch cord and the needle is only that long. So there's not room to pivot it. Plus it's such a big cord, it's stiff. And there's just not room for that. And so my stitches tend to look like this, where I'm picking up, and I don't know, it just takes
That's
a lot
also
more
what
work.
I mean with the 9-inch circular needles, is that
right.
You just use them differently. So if you expect to hold them the same way and use them the same way,
Which I bought a pair of 9 inches, but I haven't used them yet. Yeah. So anyway, it just is taking a lot more time for each stitch. Mm-hmm. I don't whiz through things as fast as I normally do, but I'm really enjoying it. It's really fun to knit.
It's so pretty.
And the yarn is just, I mean, the color is marshmallow, but the yarn should be called marshmallow. Yeah. It is so fluffy. It's a single ply that is, I think, just 100% merino. Let me just double check that really quick.
Attributes right here.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah, 100% superwash merino. It's a super bulky. There are 114 yards and 150 grams in this ball of yarn. And oh, it's just a squishy, gorgeous. Oh, I just wish you could get the color, really. It's so fun. So that's been a lot of fun.
Where did you find that yarn?
I got this at Willow Hill, which is a yarn store here at Gardner Village, cute little shopping center. We've talked about it before there. And yeah, I just picked that up one day. I was on Valentine's Day, actually. I bought it for myself for Valentine's Day. I went over I had to run a few errands, and I went over to Gardner Village. They have a candy shop there called Wagon Wheel? Is that what they're called?
I don't remember.
Wagon Wheel.
Is that what it changed to?
Yes, it used to be Sweet Aftons. Anyway, okay. I think it's called Wagon Wheel. And they have fudge and chocolates and, truffles and different things. And I got my kids each some of the pretzel rods that were dipped in caramel, and then different chocolates and then different toppings, and got those for them for Valentine's Day. And I bought myself some yarn. So there you go. Happy Valentine's Day to me. That is probably going to be a gift as well. All right, 2 more to go.
Okay.
So this is so much fun. I have been posting about this project on Instagram, but I am knitting the Songbird mittens. Right there. These are patterned by Erica Huser Designs. Right there at the top, you can see her name. And oh my goodness, they are so much fun. So I am currently working, this is the first mitten, and I am working on the thumb right now. Let's see if I can kind of tidy this up a little bit. So this is the first mitten. Oh my goodness, it looks so good. Isn't that pretty? It's so pretty.
It looks like a painting. You're painting with yarn.
It's so pretty. And then here's the other side. Oh, they're so fun. And then I'm knitting on the thumb right now, which is going to have this really pretty leaf pattern there. You can see that. Oh, I just love these. These are so much fun to knit. I am using Knit Picks palette, and this color is called White, and this is called Celestial. And what can I say? Okay, I am not the most experienced stranded colorwork knitter. I'm just not. And I don't know that I'm great at it. I don't think I'm great at it. I'm learning, we'll put it that way. I think that my gauge and my tension is improving. There are some places where I've been catching my floats that I'm seeing it a little bit puckery, but I don't know how much of that it just will block and how much of that is bad technique. I'm not sure. Some things I did learn already. I've learned more about color dominance and just where I hold my yarn. If you look at this cuff, you can see a line right across here where I switched from holding my white yarn as the lower yarn, or as the upper yarn, and the blue yarn as the lower yarn. So I was doing that here, and then I switched them and put the white as the lower, which means it travels, it doesn't have to travel quite as far for each stitch, basically, which means it changes into your dominant color. And after that, you can see, like, it's a very plain, stark line, stark contrast there. I've heard that there are different people who have different theories on color dominance, but that is what is working for me. So anyway, I am knitting these magic loop. I don't see how you could do them. I mean, you could do them DPNs, but with the changing in width, and especially, you know, as you're working, you know, your thumb gusset, so your number of stitches on your needle changes regularly. And then you're doing this little thumb. You really can only do magic loop or DPNs, I think. You couldn't do it. I don't think you could do it on a 9-inch is what I'm saying, at least for the body of the mitten. But that's what I'm doing, and I'm just loving it. It definitely does take some concentration. I have to sit with the chart in front of me and pay attention, but I did the last, like, from here up and finished the handoff. I did sitting in the car, and I was surprised at how fast I was able to go. I was waiting for my daughter in a lesson and was able to do that there. Anyway, just loving those. Aren't they fun? And these are going to be for me. I'm going to keep these, but I will definitely be making more colorwork mittens after this. I have just absolutely loved it. And I have to say, my watch is kind of bulky. So that's one thing I'm not thinking it's going to fit really well with, is my watch. So I don't know. Might have to adjust that in the future.
I thought you were saying that the cuff was loose.
The cuff is a little loose. It's just, it doesn't look good, let's say, over my watch.
Yeah, that's true. That's not
good. But it fits beautifully in the hand.
Oh, so pretty. Isn't
that fun? Aren't those kind of showstoppers?
Yeah, they
like
are.
If you walk in with mittens like that somewhere, they're going to be like, wow. And then you can say, I made it. So those are so much fun. I'm definitely not like sitting and working on them for hours and hours at a time, but really enjoying them, which has been nice. I think it's nice to be able to have something you just pick up and work on it for a little bit, put it down again. Okay, last project. I was so inspired by my friend Renee, or Margaret in this case.
Oh, yes. I think when you turn that direction, we lose a bit of your voice.
I'm sorry. I was inspired by Margaret, friend of Margaret, who knit a calliope sweater. Here is a picture.
Calliope is by...
This is by Espace Tricot. And Margaret knit hers in this gorgeous Irish green
She is
yarn.
Knit by Gramsy.
Knit by Gramsy on Instagram, and she posted pictures of it. And I just loved that sweater so much that I decided to make one. And so this is where I am on this sweater. And it is just, oh, isn't that pretty? It's so pretty. I'm getting close to being ready to switch to the hem. The yarn I am using is from Hobby Yarns, Hobbii. And it is called Zafira, which I believe is a discontinued, but they have something to replace it. But this is a cotton wool and acrylic blend. It's the kind where there's a
mesh tube.
I have wrapped my yarn. Hold on.
It's all.
I was all wound around the handle of my basket. Yeah, it's a cotton tube that has the wool and the nylon kind of blown into it. So it looks like this.
So it's light as a cloud.
It is. It's very light. It's quite woolly. And it classifies it as a worsted, but it is not a worsted. It is definitely a DK. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just kind of funny. So I really am liking it a lot. I'm trying to see what the color is of it. It won't matter. Like I said, it's not available. It's probably, it's color number 20. There you go. It's a really beautiful blush color. I'm knitting this in a size small. And then I have put some A-line in, some kind of waist shaping, hip shaping, and increased to a medium for around the hips. Anyway, isn't that pretty?
You've got all of your yarn jewelry,
Oh yeah, this is my increases, marking my increases right there. So I think it's just going to be gorgeous. It really is. It's so pretty. It looks so pretty in the light too. It almost is knitting up with a little bit of a slub texture, that yarn is. Which again, I don't think you can see, but
it's very pretty. I love this.
It's so much fun. And I zoomed through this. I had knit this much in a week. And then I haven't worked on it for several days now. But yeah, it took me less than a week, Saturday to Thursday, to knit that much. Because I just couldn't stop knitting it. And that is everything that I have.
You have some gorgeous projects.
They are very fun.
All right. Well, then we are going to move into our Getting to Know You segment.
Excellent.
So, if you watched our last episode, we started a Getting to Know You segment, and we asked a question there that had the most lovely responses. The comment section in our last episode is the most feel-good comment section of all time.
It is.
So if you just need to feel good about things, go read that. Go read the comments. They are so lovely, and I just enjoyed it so much. So thank you very much for sharing all of the wonderful comments.
I read about half of them out loud to my husband, and we just sat there together and
yeah.
You can't be sad and read those things.
Well, I was thinking I need to actually write some of these down and reread these regularly because they were so
good.
So go back and watch, or you can watch it, like read comments. So we have our new Getting to Know You question. So I would say my number one hobby of all time is learning new things. Is falling down a rabbit hole. And sometimes I fall down a rabbit hole and then I eventually climb my way back up again, only to fall down another rabbit hole. And sometimes I fall down one, and while I'm in there, I fall down another. And so my question is, what is a rabbit hole that you have fallen down, that you have loved, that you don't want to climb back out again? I've thought about that. There's a lot of them. And it can be something recently or a while ago.
So give us a couple examples.
So for me, every year I fall down the gardening rabbit hole, where I just love to learn about new things to experiment with. You know, I love gardening so much. But lately, I have been just doing a lot of study about healthy boundaries and unhealthy and toxic personalities. And so that's one that I spend a lot of time studying and researching and learning about. Of course, you know, junk journaling, which I call treasure journaling. That is one that I am still like falling and falling. I haven't hit the bottom yet, so I'm still falling down that rabbit hole. So there's a few of mine. Obviously the sock knitting machine, I like to learn about different topics. I like to learn about history, and I especially love living history. I love BBC has several series, Secrets of the Castle, Victorian Farms, Edwardian Farm,
Wartime
Farm, all of those. I love living history like that. So anyways, I have several of them, but right now I am in the junk journaling, gardening, and learning about boundaries and unhealthy and toxic personalities rabbit holes. So what about you, Emily?
God, this is a really good question. And I'm a think out loud kind of person, so give me a minute. But one for me that I continually stay down, you know what I mean, stay delved in, is studying worldviews.
Yes.
So different worldviews. I love, biblical Christian, the Judeo-Christian, Islam, Marxism, postmodernism, New Age spiritual. What's the other one I was going to say? Hold on. My brain just totally blanked.
I don't know. This is your area of
humanism,
expertise.
secular humanism. So anyway, I love studying that, and I've taught a lot of classes on that, but I teach the classes mostly because I'm so fascinated about it. And I love just learning all the places that were the same and the places that were different, and how people's patterns of thinking are developed through the way that they see the world, and just things like that is really interesting to me. One that I'm currently diving into pretty substantially is emergency preparedness, but not in like a weird
zombie apocalypse
not that way, just in a connected heritage kind of manner. I don't know. It's less waste, buying things in bulk and finding ways to store them properly, and planning and knowing what your family needs for a year so that you can make wise decisions about your purchasing and not have waste, but instead rotate through things properly while also having a good storage for times of shortages and needs. And so anyway, it's just been a really good thing. And that's part of what we've been doing with our organizing, is going through things that are in our storage and figuring out what things do we have expired stuff? Do we have, do we buy too much of this and we need to stop? We don't use it, so now don't buy that anymore. And anyway, just figuring things out about our family and our usages and stuff like that. So that's been really interesting to me. I'm always in a knitting place. I'm definitely in the junk journaling place. What else am I really into?
Oh, always murder, true crime.
Not as much anymore. I haven't really been into true crime lately, just because
I've started into that word. I've never.
I know. I have been in a true crime. The thing about true crime is there's limited places I go for it, because I don't like a lot of bad language and I don't like a lot of gore and details about things, but I'm really fascinated by the human nature side of things and the mystery solving side of things. And so you have to find the right places to find true crime, where it's in a, I don't know, respectful, let's say, not glorified.
Yeah.
And yeah. So anyway, but I haven't done that as much, just because life is hard enough without it.
Yes, it is.
Life has felt heavy. I mean, we all know that life is feeling heavy. So anyway, I guess those are kind of some of my, I'm sure there's other things that I know what I'm about to fall into.
Oh, okay.
Sourdough baking.
Oh, okay.
So my friend our friend Gaina sent me some of her sourdough start dehydrated. And so I'm learning about that, but I'm probably going to work on that tomorrow and start waking it up, let's say, and we're going to try some sourdough baking. So
that'll be fun. Yeah. Well, I am always looking for a new rabbit hole to fall down. So please share yours below.
Please. Yes. And what you love about it.
Yes.
Would like to know. Yeah.
Yes. All right, it is time for our giveaway.
Yay!
Giveaways.
We have several.
We have 3. Okay, we have for our Cozy Toes cowl that ended in March, or ended in February, end of February, which is where you knit a pair of socks with DK weight yarn. We pulled a prize, a winner on Instagram and one on our Facebook group. And so I'm going to show you our prize for the Instagram one. I got to pull it out. I didn't want to unwrap it because it was too pretty. I felt like you should enjoy it wrapped, but I also want you to see what it looks like. Oh, ooh, it smells lovely. It's been in a package, so I haven't been able to smell it.
Ooh, it does smell good.
Oh, I gotta try this. Sorry, you're not getting it as pretty now. But this is a bag by Little Robin Cottage.
Cute. That is a darling
So I went
bag.
on her website, and this one just kept screaming my name, but it's going to someone else.
So cute. I'm
But
getting
I
on her website
love
right now.
I mean, she only had one. Otherwise, I would have bought 2 of these. Oh, it smells so good. Okay, so this bag, and then I also got some stitch markers, some just dainty, delicate gold circle stitch markers, which I think these are the best. They're just
They are
so great.
so nice.
And then the cutest bunny progress keeper. It's enamel.
So darling.
Perfect for the spring. So
She has some darling things in her shop. Oh my goodness.
I know. I have one of her charms on my.
I have this on
have
one of my
this
projects. Where is it?
on
On my
project.
mittens. Which
And
one
then
is
I have
that?
a cherry progress
Look,
keeper.
I have her little bird.
Oh, that's where the bird is from.
Yeah,
So
on my songbird mittens.
yes. So, anyways, our winner for this prize on Instagram is Knitting and Needles. That our winner knit purple socks, and the pattern is Puffy Socks by Adriana Nanodri, Nanoadri. And she has a cute themed bag with it that she showed her project with, and it was a haunted mansion project bag. It
Oh,
was
that's
cute.
fun. That's
Cute.
really fun.
So, prize number 1.
We'll tell you how to get in contact with us when we announce all the prizes. So,
Okay, now for Facebook,
all right,
Emily.
Facebook.
right here.
So we had so many wonderful entries on both Instagram
It's
and
74 on Facebook and almost the same on Instagram.
so
that's fun.
just amazing. Okay, so this prize,
I'll probably have to take that out of the bag too.
I know, I
I'm
probably
sorry
do.
to mess things up.
And I hate the crinkling. I'm sorry. I don't like it.
Crinkling sounds nice.
I don't
It means
like
happy
it.
things.
This bag is beautiful. Do you know?
Yeah, this one is Farmhouse Sewing Cafe.
And it is a padded, it's like a quilted bag. It's got this darling peppermint candy print inside. And
So we chose this one because
chocolate.
Cozy Toes needed a
it's
cozy
so cozy.
print.
Yeah.
She's got a little clasp inside to
Cute,
hold
cute.
things.
And I like the wristlet, the little wrist strap on the side. Cute little drawstring bag. And then there's also this Woolin & Co. wool wash bar, and it's cozy flannel. So that is going together. And our winner, which is so fun, is Marilyn Matson. And Marilyn, this was her first ever pair of socks. And she knit these really cute DK socks. And I'm trying to remember anything else about the yarn. They were kind of an autumnal colors.
Yeah.
And they fit her beautifully. I saw them in person actually. So,
Yeah.
so exciting. So Marilyn, you are the winner of that package.
Okay, and then we had a grand prize winner because we told you we both have fallen down the junk journaling, treasure journaling rabbit hole. And this is a treasure journal for holding on to records of your projects. And this is a journal that I made. And I dyed paper, and I showed this on the last one. I've added some new things since then because I couldn't help myself. So this is our grand prize winner.
And that's being pulled from both Instagram and Facebook
Yep.
together.
So our winner for that one is TLC Knits, who is Cindy Vogel. She's on Instagram. And this was her first pair of DK socks. So that was really fun. So you win our grand prize. I say grand prize because
it's a beautiful handmade work of art.
This one.
And you get to add to it. So it'll be a joint work of art between the two of you. So for all of you prize winners, please get in contact with me directly. You can either contact me on Facebook Messenger. I'm just Emily Gray Clausen on Facebook, and you should already be able to find me if you're on that Facebook group. Or through Instagram, you can message me, and I'm saltcityknits on Instagram. So come find me in either of those places. Please send me your address
your first
and last name so that I can get these packages out to you. And that'll be just exciting for you to get these happy mail.
And for our last month's winners, the patterns have been sent to you. The yarn should be on its way.
I think it was on its way. Yeah.
It was on its way. It was going to be sent right away, but then, they got the lurgy.
The lurgy. So everybody's healthy and well, and yarn is on its way.
They're sending the yarn out.
Yep.
Okay. Shop news.
Can I just say before we start that, this was such a fun knit along.
It was.
And I spent most of my time paying attention to the Facebook group side of it. Deborah focused on the Instagram. But it was so fun to just see people sharing ideas of their socks and commenting on each other's socks and asking for pattern recommendations and things like that. I just loved that community building aspect of it. We just really enjoyed that. So thank you for joining in with us.
Yeah, we had fun with that. We haven't done giveaways for a while because shipping was getting kind of crazy and we didn't want the focus of our podcast to be on giveaways. So anyways, we may do another one in the future. We'll see.
All right, shop news.
Shop news. So, another big announcement. We have, I have a fun, let's see. I've been working with Tanis Gray, who's Tanis Knits. I told you I have my Tanis Gray binder that has all of my favorite Tanis patterns because I love her patterns so much.
So good.
And so she and I, were chatting and, kind of had a fun discussion, and from that came a pattern, and it has just released, and it is called Meet Me in the Fairy Garden. It is a cowl that uses DK weight yarn, and she knit it in my Berry Burst and Aloha colorways on Bloom DK, and it uses 2 full skeins of each, so that is a big cowl. It's really fun. What it is it's a tube that wraps down low, and then you can double it over on.
So almost like an infinity scarf.
So yes, but it is, rather than being color work, it is mosaic knitting, which is a series of knit and purl rounds with slip stitches, so that you don't need to do color work and be carrying catching floats and things like that. So it's really a fun technique. And so I have kits in my shop. I have the yarn in my shop. The pattern, you buy that at her website, which is tanisknits.com. And then I have a couple of alternative colorway. So this one is my Practically Perfect blue, and this one is Snow Cone. And then I have another option here, which is my Seaweed Spritzer, which is a green base, a green colorway, like semi-solid, and then Lemon Chiffon Pie, which is yellows and greens and speckles of gold. So I have those kits. Cute. And then I released some new colorways. Some of them were the same as before, actually just one. You may have seen Skyberry Pop on my Sprinkles DK base, but I wanted to create a lot more. So I have my Berry Burst colorway that I dyed on Sprinkles DK. And then I have some new colorways, and there's one that's missing because it's sold out, but I'll be dyeing it again. This one is Jolly Joe's, and this one is a tonal. Some are semi-solid, some are tonals. This one you can see kind of has the pinks and purplies and blues. This one is Fire Extinguisher, which is named after an old-fashioned soda. And I posted the recipe when I posted this on Instagram, and it's on Etsy. You can find the recipe for that. And this one, it is also a tonal. It has pinks and oranges, but overall kind of looks like a neon coral colorway.
Just like my nails. Neon coral.
Ooh, yes. And this one is Sweet and Salty. I have another blue that is more of a deeper navy blue, but this one is a more vibrant sapphire blue. And then there was one other colorway that is like a teal color, and that one is called Goody Goody Gumdrop. So that one I don't have to show you right now because it's sold out, but some people were ordering like one of each. Oh, when I packaged those up, and I was like, I love this so much.
So
fun.
much fun.
So I have some of those in my shop, actually quite a few in my shop right now, and I will be dyeing more of those. And then I released my next Bon Bon Mini box, and the theme of this one is Bloom. And I took my inspiration from early blooming spring flowers. This one right here, I haven't named all the individual colorways of my previous boxes, but I've named these. So this one is Violet, because it looks like the violets that are popping up in my garden. This one is Crocus. This one is Snowdrop. This one is Hellebore, and this one is Tulip. And I have named these because in April I will be releasing these as full-size skeins, because I just have to.
It's so beautiful.
So I actually dyed more of these than I have of my previous ones, so I still have a good amount in my shop. So I know that I'll tell you about it and you go there and it's gone.
Can I buy this one from you?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
So I have those in my shop right now, along with lots of other tasty confections.
So much fun. I love it.
All right. Well, I think that's enough from us.
We've made it another round. Hey, look, we are like under an hour and a half. Yes. That's a miracle.
And I only have a couple of rounds for my toe, and then this pair of socks is done. I'm so excited. I'm gonna work on my other projects now.
That's awesome. So, well, we hope you enjoy your March. Don't know exactly when we'll be speaking to you again. You know us.
We manage to pop up every now and again.
And we'll talk to you all very soon. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.